We're talking about algebraic expressions versus equations. And this is an algebraic expression. And I want to translate the words into an expression. So 3, I write 3. More, I write plus. But it is more than what? 9 times a number. Now, I always tell my kids that than is a switch word, and whenever you see the word than, switch your terms. Now, remember, a term would be the numbers and variables, a number and a letter, between the plus and minus signs. So I have a plus sign here. This would be term number 1. This would be term number 2. And remember, 9 times x is the same thing as 9x. So I switched the 3 and the 9x, and that is my final answer. So what do we do on the algebraic side? We simplified. And what does it mean to simplify? To simplify means to make it as small as you can when you have no more like terms. You are not going to solve. I'm not going to do any inverse operations here. I stop. How do I know I don't have any like terms? The 3 doesn't have an x. And if it did, I could make it 12x. But it doesn't, so I cannot add these. I'm done. So this is what you call simplifying. Now we're going to use that same expression and do this side, except now it's an equation. How do we know it's an equation? Because it has an equal sign. What is the word that means equal? Is. Okay, now be careful, because if the problem doesn't say is, but it says maybe will be, that is also an equal sign. Okay, so anything that means the word is going to be an equal sign. 3, more. There's my than, there's my switch word, so eventually I'm going to have to switch some information. 9 times a number is going to be x. You can use any letter, any variable, and it equals 30. So now remember, over here we didn't have the is, but we still switched 9x and 3. So over here you're going to do the same thing. If that equals 30 wasn't there, you're still going to switch that 9x and that 3 because of the word than. So this is 9x plus 3, and that is going to equal 30. Now we have to actually solve this side. Solving means to isolate the variable. And to isolate the variable, meaning getting the x alone by itself, we need to do inverse operations. Remember, this 9 moves last, so we have to move the 3. Since it is added, we subtract. So now I have 9x will equal 27, and then we divide by 9. And x equals what? 3. Now why did I divide by 9? Well, this up here was 9 times x. And so what is the inverse operation of multiplication? It's division, so that's why I divided it off. And now x equals 3. And I have solved. So when you're solving, you're actually getting the value of the variable in the problem. How do I know this is right? I'm going to show you a little trick. I can plug all of that in the calculator, and it'll tell me true or false. So let me go home, start a new document. No. Okay, calculator. I'm going to type 9, parentheses. What did I say x was? I got 3. So I'm going to type 3 plus 3 equals 30. If it tells me true, then I know I did this right. True. So what did I just do? I checked my solution. I plugged my answer back into the equation, and it is correct. Why is this an equation? Because it has an equal sign. So I solve it. Is this an equation? No, it's an algebraic expression, and you do not solve, you just simplify it. Okay, I am now going to leave the rest for you to do in class. And I want to do this one. So a $5 rental fee plus $2 per mile. So a $5 rental fee plus $2 per, meaning multiply, mile. So that could be M for miles. And I don't see the word van, so I can leave it as 5 plus 2M. And I'm done. It says the total cost is, so total cost, that's my dependent variable, and I want to call it Y. Is my equal, and a $5 rental fee plus $2 for every mile, per times the mile. Okay, I'm done with my equation. And since I used M for miles and there's an M down here, let's not confuse you, because then you'll be mad at me and you'll say to your teacher, there were too many M's, I didn't understand. So I'm going to say that mile is going to stand for X because X is independent. And I'm going to change that over here and put X2 and put X. And that will turn out a little better here when I've finished solving and working this out. Now, what's different about this problem? Well, I don't know what Y is yet, so I cannot solve it. So I have to read this down here. It tells me that if I find X, I can do that if I know that, or I'm telling you that Y is 11. So find the X value. Find it. But find it when Y is 11. That means I want you to come in here and put an 11 right here. And now solve it. Okay? So we're going to do everything we've done on the other problems. The inverse operation. So I'm going to take some paper here and rewrite my problem. And I just told you that Y was 11. Now let's solve for X. So what's going to happen? Do you move the 2, the 5, or the 11? Well, if I want to isolate X and X is here, what do I have to do? Move the 5 or the 2. Which one goes first? Well, the number touching this variable, I move it last. And remember, this is a coefficient. Move him last. So what do we move first? The 5. So, minus 5. Why did I do minus 5? The inverse operation of this, it's positive. It's being added on. It's going to be to subtract. Now, be careful. You are not subtracting because of that. Because this 2 is positive. So be careful. This 5 has an invisible plus sign right here, which means it was really added. So that's why you subtract. So be very careful as to what you're looking at to decide if you subtract or add. So that's 6 equals 2x. Now you divide, because that's multiplication, by 2. So x is 3. Now how can we check that? We can take our equation. 11 equals 5 plus 2 times 3. Is that true or not? Well, this is 6. And 5 plus 6 is 11. So that is true. So I got the right answer. Now, if x equals 3, what did we just find? We just found the independent variable, the number of miles. So there are 3 miles. And what does 11 represent? The cost. So when the total cost is $11, there had to have been 3 miles that was driven, I guess, in order to add up, or the total cost for this scenario. Okay, so apparently we're renting something and I got to pay $2 every mile, and I got to figure out how much that's going to cost. So it cost $11 total, and I was talking about the number of miles. Now I put this y equals mx plus b here so that you could see that this is y equals mx plus b. It is what we call slope intercept form. So y equals, well, that has a 5 but no letter on it, so it must be under the b, equals, and this had the x, so this must be under the mx. So what is it that I'm trying to show you? Well, doesn't m mean slope? So am I telling you that the slope is 2? Now this b is new, and that's what we call the y-intercept. So that is the y-intercept. And I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to stop there. If you need to revisit this video, just play it again so that you can have enough practice to ace this activity in class.